Goldman Sachs Chairman and CEO Llyoyd Blankfein being diagnosed with lymphoma. This news just breaking. Cheryl Casone has the details.
That's right, Sandra. We've actually just been going through this memo that he just released to employees of the firm. And want to give you a direct quote from Llyoyd Blankfein about this brand new diagnosis. He said, quote, late this summer, after several weeks of not feeling well, I underwent a series of tests which culminated in a biopsy last week. After the biopsy, I was told by my doctors that I have lymphoma. Fortunately, my form of lymphoma is highly curable, and my doctors and my own expectations are that it will be cured. Also, he goes on in the letter to say, Sandra, that he's going to scale back on some of his travel, but he plans to continue to run Goldman Sachs. And he goes on to tell employees that he will be basically in full capacity professionally as he deals with chemotherapy. And that, again, chemotherapy is going to be his choice here. You were looking at the stock. The stock is obviously down in the pre-market, but we should also quantitate here that we do have a market that was selling off before we got this news on Goldman Sachs. We're looking at a very rough open to Wall Street, Sandra. But again, Llyoyd Blankfein telling us right now and telling the bank that he's very positive and that he's going to continue to run the bank in full capacity going forward.
Cheryl, thank you. It's a very difficult thing, I'm sure, to share this so publicly, but yet explaining to shareholders that he's going to continue to work as he undergoes treatment. He says chemotherapy the next few months in New York.
It's even harder to react.
You have to disclose it, though.
Like he has to. Yeah, he definitely has to disclose it. But for us, I mean, to react to news like that, I mean, that's really difficult. I mean, thoughts and prayers go to the Blankfein family. Obviously, people at Goldman Sachs. I think what's in the spirit of actually attempting to pivot, we were talking about this biotech story. I really think it's a lightning rod. I mean, when you think of Blankfein's hope, or you think of anyone who's undergone this, I mean, really, the innovation, the pipeline, and the story that has been biotech has provided that opportunity for not only like humanity overall, but for this country and for the stock market that's invested in it. I have a real hard time seeing how this plays out as it becomes a political issue to the extent that Hillary's kind of trying to outdo Bernie Sanders here. I don't know how this ends. I think that we were talking a lot about it during the break.
We're talking about two different things, how things end when you're talking about the biotechs and Hillary's comments on the biotech industry, and one with Llyoyd Blankfein. We should note that he says that this is a highly curable form of lymphoma, and he does, in fact, believe that he will be cured.
He's going to do chemotherapy. And Jamie Dimon fought throat cancer and battled back from throat cancer, and he had a very tough round of chemo where I think he was actually bolted to the table in how they had to administer the chemo. So it's incredible. It's totally possible for these guys to run these companies while they're going through this. And I will point out, it's better to know and better to inform the shareholders. Remember how little we knew about Steve Jobs' battle until it came out later. I think
he physically deteriorated on the stage. I mean,
but it was disclosed after the fact. We didn't know that he had had a liver transplant. Remember,
these guys and gals are superhuman. I mean, truly. And I expect Blankfein to be very much the same.
Oh, please.
All right.